Right, we got some more news about the BBC, and if true, it is going to be good news, much like the recent report I covered about the new BBC boss taking them to a subscription model like Netflix or Amazon Prime. It would seem now they are pointlessly trying to win back public trust because there are claims the new boss plans to axe left-wing comedy from the BBC. Obviously, not all of it, but at least some of it. So hopefully, we will see the end of garbage like Have I Got News For You, and of course, low-life tosspot remainers like Nish Kumar, who you might remember tried his left-wing political rants disguised as comedy while attending a dinner function which ended in him being booed off stage and audience members launching bread rolls at him. Of course, removing these political activists from TV shows won't change the simple fact the BBC is about as British as a fucking Martian. Nothing they do will win people back. It is over for them. That is the end of it. But anyway, plenty of people have been gloating about it on Twitter already, and the Express picked up on it here with the headline: BBC bias, left-wing comedy shows under threat as new BBC boss plans major shake-up. The BBC's new boss, Tim Davie, has vowed to address left-wing bias in the broadcaster's material. Now, like I said, that'll be very good if they do, but I can't see it actually happening. And after 2027, when they are forced to take up a subscription model, I'm pretty sure it won't really matter because I won't watch them anyway, so I really won't care. And after no one is forced to pay for them, I ain't gonna care about what they do or what they say. Besides, anything they come out with that is complete nonsense, as I would do with any broadcast media. Mr. Davies thinks comedy broadcast by the BBC is perceived as targeting the Conservative Party more often than it does the left. Inside sources told the Telegraph the corporation's new Director General is due to outline the issues in his first speech on Thursday. Which I think you would all agree is not really up for debate that the comedy broadcast by the BBC definitely targets the Conservative Party a lot more than it does the left. In fact, let me know the last time you heard a BBC comedy show attack someone on the left, because I can't remember it. Mr. Davie officially takes over from previous BBC Director General Tony Hall today. He is expected on Thursday to say the BBC will commit to producing material that is more inclusive of beliefs across the political spectrum. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it, but obviously if it actually happens, it will be good to see, and like I said, is actually good news. But as with anything relating to the BBC, I remain massively sceptical. Mr. Davie hopes this will help restore trust and confidence in the public broadcaster as it faces questions over the future of its publicly funded model. Ben Bradley, Conservative MP for Mansfield, welcomed the news, accusing recent BBC comedy shows as being constant left-wing rants, which obviously they are. Nish Kumar showed us that recently with his little jaunt on stage where he got booed off and had bread rolls thrown at him, as I said earlier. He is so used to performing these political rants for the BBC that he actually thought an audience of real people wanted to listen to that shit. He swiftly found out they really didn't, and the usher had to get him off stage rather rapidly. Ben Bradley added, Mr. Davie appears to be talking a good game at sorting bias at the BBC. Yes, he appears to be talking a good game, but Priti Patel has spent the last few months talking a very good game while doing a completely piss poor job. So I think I will remain skeptical until I actually see something happen. More details are expected in the new Director General's speech. Sources have said no firm decisions have been made on how the BBC will tackle perceptions of left-wing bias, though they did say some shows would be axed. Meaning possibly Have I Got News For You, Nish Kumar and a bunch of others could be kicked to the curb, which will have me celebrating, that is for sure. All these low-life snivelling shitweasels that have spent the last 4 years screaming about how bad Brexit is going to be and calling everyone who voted for it racist gammon, I can't wait until they lose their jobs, which is not something I often say. It continues though, in addition, comedy panel shows will be expected to include guests with a broader range of views. So expect Nigel Farage and people like that to be on the BBC a hell of a lot more now. Though I still doubt they will get a full broad range of views. Let's be honest, it's the BBC. They ain't gonna get anyone on there who's slightly more spicier than Nigel Farage, I would bet. There will also be a crackdown on BBC journalists expressing their political views on social media, as I covered the other day. Last year, an Ofcom report concluded the BBC as soon as too middle class, white and London-centric. Well, I don't know what they're talking about there with it being too white. At the moment, you could essentially call it the Bain Broadcasting Corporation with their insane policies and quotas they are setting themselves. The report also stated viewers were concerned ethnic minorities were not being adequately represented in news stories. This includes on-screen presenters. Please tell me who is saying this to them. What level of their audience is saying this? I really want to know what level of 50, 60, 70-year-olds are sitting there saying, you know what, the BBC doesn't have enough black people on it, doesn't do stories about enough black people, doesn't talk about black people often enough. What the actual fuck world are Ofcom living in, and goes to show just how piss poor and completely useless they really are. That has to be one of the most stupidest comments I have seen in a while. In fact, this whole little bit here that we are looking at is just complete and utter batshit crazy. Ofcom described the BBC's ability to source local news stories as unparalleled, and so all of the UK should be represented, which once again proves Ofcom is completely off its fucking nut. The BBC's ability to source local news stories, yeah, unless it's like Rotherham or Telford and talking about grooming gangs or things like that, in which case the BBC's ability to source local news is completely piss poor. Or should we say their ability to source it is probably good, but their actual willingness to cover it is another matter entirely. Ofcom really need to fuck off, they're just pissing me off with everything they've said there. The BBC is said to be considering a new model for its funding which would mirror what Sweden has already done. This is also something I covered and is never going to swing. This would mean replacing the TV licence with an addition to income tax instead, which is just batshit crazy and is never going to happen. Regarding the BBC's comedy output, broadcaster Andrew Neil tweeted in 2018, "When it comes to so-called comedy, the BBC has long given up on balance, on radio and on TV. Nobody seems to care. And I don't want right-wing comedy, whatever that is, I'd just like comedy, which is in really short supply on TV and radio. Well, I think you'll find what they call right-wing comedy is literally just comedy. The left created their own comedy, which is just political rants about people they hate, you know, Trump derangement syndrome, Brexit derangement syndrome, that's their idea of comedy. Which, if I'm honest, we do kind of laugh at, but not in the sense of the word that we think they're funny, just in the sense of the word that we think they're a bunch of idiots and they look like it. Georgie comedian Ben van der Velde has said comedians expressing views such as pro-Brexit sentiment may become more common in time, claiming the topic often splits parties on both sides. He told the New Statesman, as with anything, you've got to appreciate a diversity of opinion. Unless, of course, you are part of the rabid left, in which case diversity of opinion is a thought crime and you must be beaten down for it. He continued, the fascinating thing about Brexit is that the comedy scene is probably institutionally left, but Brexit cuts across that axis. Speaking as a comedian, I think there are certainly right-wing comics you can admire for their performance skill, even if you don't agree with their politics. Yes, because everything is not revolving around people's politics. You can agree with people on a multitude of different things and still hate them for their political beliefs. It is not some ideological purity spiral we are on here. Though I think far too many people seem to forget that. You can agree with people on some things and disagree with them on others. It is okay. To think differently is exactly what the hard leftist fuckpigs are going around doing at the moment. You must conform to what we want, or in the gulag you will go. The moment the rest of us normal people start acting like that, we are literally fucked. Because remember, this is nothing to do with right or left. There is just the left now and everybody else. The left have gone so far left that even if you were centre before, at the moment you are considered hard right to them. Shit, even if you're soft left, you are probably still considered hard right to the lunatic hard leftists at the moment. Some right-wing comics, however, also rely on using disgusting racial and gender shorthand, which isn't even about punching down, it's joking with hate and contempt. No, it's probably just being a little bit spicy. And let's be honest, saying boo to a fucking ghost in 2020 is considered hateful, racist, or in some way attacking someone's gender. Now guys, I think you would agree it is good news if the BBC is actually planning to get rid of some of these left-wing comedy shows that we all know are a bunch of shit. Of course, there's no guarantee that they will, and once the license fee is gone, it really won't matter. I can't imagine any of you guys will be paying a BBC subscription. I certainly won't, that is for sure.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.